All right, so are you ready for this? We are going on a deep dive
I'm ready.
into unwanted boners.
Uh-oh.
So you shared this Reddit thread with me.
Yes.
Men, how do you get rid of an unwanted boner? And
Pretty good question.
some of these responses
Oh, yeah.
are just gold. So we've got political imagery, we've got muscle flexing,
Oh.
and even some, let's just call them creative solutions
Okay.
to this problem. But what I think is so fascinating is that
Yeah.
this really simple question is actually
Yeah.
pretty deep, right?
Yeah.
Like we're getting into
Oh, absolutely.
the psychology of arousal. We're getting
Yeah.
into societal expectations
Yeah.
around masculinity,
Absolutely.
and even just like the impact of aging on the body.
It's all there. Yeah.
It's all there. So
Yeah.
let's start with, I think,
Okay.
one of the most popular suggestions in the thread,
All right.
the Thatcher tactic.
Ooh. The Thatcher tactic.
So apparently a lot of guys swear by imagining Margaret Thatcher naked to just kill the mood.
Wow. Interesting.
I know, right?
Well, it sounds ridiculous.
It does sound ridiculous.
But there's actually some pretty solid psychology
Yeah.
behind this. When you conjure up
Yeah.
like a really unsexy image, you're essentially like short-circuiting the arousal response.
Yeah.
Like you're basically doing thought stopping, right? So you're redirecting your attention away from whatever's getting you aroused and onto something totally different.
So it's like mental jujitsu
It is.
for your...
Yes, exactly. And it really highlights that connection between our thoughts
Yeah.
and our physical responses.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what other mental tricks we can
Wow.
use to control our bodies or...
That's a great question, and it's
Yeah.
definitely something we can explore further
Yeah.
as we go through this.
Okay, so
All right.
moving on from Mrs. Thatcher,
Yep.
let's talk about the boner relocation system.
Ooh, the boner relocation system.
This one involves flexing your leg muscles
Interesting.
to supposedly redirect blood flow.
Okay. So there is some physiological logic to this, right? When you engage large muscle groups, you do need increased blood flow. Now, whether or not that's enough to make a noticeable difference, debatable.
But hey, if you're in a pinch,
Uh-huh.
it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And speaking of being in a pinch,
Yeah.
we have to talk about these guys
Okay.
who suggest donating their unwanted erections
Oh, my goodness.
to the less fortunate.
The altruistic approach, huh?
Yeah. The altruistic approach to boners.
Yeah.
It is, I mean,
It's great.
it's a classic example of just humor as a coping mechanism.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, how do you get through this awkward situation?
Just laugh about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really does lighten the mood.
Yeah. And it speaks to that power of community, even in the depths of Reddit, right? We're finding ways to connect and laugh about something that could otherwise be really embarrassing.
And there is this shared understanding that we've all been there, which is oddly comforting.
It is.
Yeah. So it seems like some guys
Okay.
eventually reach a point
Yeah.
where they don't even have to worry about unwanted boners at all.
Okay.
There's a whole contingent
Oh, yeah.
of older men in this thread who are claiming
Oh, really?
this is just not an issue for them anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's where those age-related changes come into play, right?
All right.
So over time, hormonal shifts and vascular health
Okay.
can really impact, how often and how easily men get erections.
So these seasoned veterans
Right.
are basically saying,
Yeah.
like, we've graduated to a level of existence
Oh.
where unwanted boners are a distant memory.
Well, I don't know about graduation,
Okay.
but it is, it's
Yeah.
part of the aging process, right?
Right.
And of course, individual experiences can vary, but
Yeah.
generally, those spontaneous erections do become less frequent as men age.
It's fascinating how these Reddit responses just really highlight like the different stages of male sexuality.
It is. And,
So-
and it reminds us
Yeah.
that there's no one-size-fits-all experience
Right.
when it comes to this.
Okay. So we've covered mental imagery, muscle flexing, the wisdom of age, but there's one solution that keeps popping up,
Oh,
and it's probably the most straightforward
okay.
of them all.
What's that?
You're talking about the Just Beat It chorus, right?
Haha, exactly.
It seems like a lot of Redditors advocate for taking matters into their own hands, so to speak.
Well, I mean, it is a natural and healthy way
Okay.
to relieve that sexual tension. However,
Okay.
it is important to consider the context
Right.
and the potential drawbacks.
Like maybe avoid doing it in the middle of a crowded lecture hall.
Yeah, precisely. Discretion is key.
Right.
And, for some individuals, frequent reliance on that method might kind of mask any underlying issues or contribute to, unhealthy patterns.
So while it's a valid option, it's not
a one-size-fits-all.
a one-size-fits-all solution. This Reddit thread has been wild.
It really has.
I'm already seeing some recurring themes, like the desire for control, the use of humor to cope with awkwardness, the power of community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we continue on with this deep dive, I think we'll find even more insights into this complex and often hilarious world. Oh, yeah.
Of unwanted boners.
This is one.
This is a good one.
For the books or maybe the internet forums. Speaking of internet forums.
Yeah.
If you enjoy these deep dives into the human experience, make sure to subscribe to Voices of the Soul.
Absolutely.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes. And if you are craving more, visually engaging and thought-provoking content.
Yes.
Head over to the Shauna Pelage
YouTube channel.
We've got a whole library of deep dives waiting for you.
We are all about exploring the curious, the unexpected, and the downright fascinating aspects of human existence.
That's what we do.
So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Because we're just getting started.
Absolutely. Right. It seems like some of these more unconventional solutions in this thread really highlight the desperation people feel when they're dealing with unwanted erections. Like, we've got
people suggesting ice baths, strategically placed ice packs.
Okay.
And even brace yourself.
Yeah.
A swift kick to the groin.
Ouch. Yeah, that one is probably more painful.
It's not medically sound, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it does, it speaks to the lengths people will go to when they just feel like they're losing control of their bodies.
Yeah, like they're willing to try anything.
Anything.
No matter how extreme.
Yeah.
And some of these solutions like go beyond the physical realm.
Okay.
Right? There are a few responses that involve calling upon a higher power.
Oh, interesting. You're talking about the thoughts and prayers approach.
Yeah, the thoughts and prayers approach.
It's fascinating how even in a seemingly secular space like Reddit, people turn to spirituality for comfort.
Right.
Or a sense of control when they're faced with something.
Yeah.
They find embarrassed.
Right. Or difficult to manage.
Exactly.
It's like they're acknowledging that sometimes even our own bodies can feel like this mystery beyond our understanding.
Yeah, and it really shows how diverse our coping mechanisms can be,
Right.
Some people turn to logic and science, others to humor, and still others to faith or spirituality.
It's all about finding what works for you.
Exactly. It is.
Okay, so we've got the physical solutions, we've got the spiritual solutions, and then there's a whole category of responses that just focus on distraction.
Oh, interesting.
It's like mental gymnastics.
Okay.
But for your,
and the principle behind distraction techniques is pretty sound, right? When you engage your mind in a demanding task, you're really shifting your focus.
Okay.
And potentially reducing that arousal. And we've got suggestions ranging from complex mathematical equations to reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to even visualizing a bucket of rusty nails.
One user swears by thinking about Oprah Winfrey's anatomy.
Oh, okay.
It seems like the more outlandish the distraction, the better.
It's all about finding that mental sweet spot where your brain is just so preoccupied that it overrides that physical response. And sometimes that requires some pretty creative thinking.
It really is a testament to the power of our minds over our bodies. It reminds us that we actually have more control than we realize.
Way more.
As we delve deeper into these responses, I'm noticing this subtle but persistent tension between these traditional notions of masculinity and a more nuanced view of male sexuality.
That's interesting. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, there are some responses that seem to reflect this idea that men should always be in the mood and ready for action. And an unwanted erection is seen as like a sign of weakness, something to be controlled, suppressed at all cost.
Like that always ready stereotype.
Exactly, that outdated stereotype.
Yeah.
But then you have other responses that embrace the reality that male sexuality is complex and not always under our conscious control.
Right.
And these guys are acknowledging the awkwardness, laughing about it, and finding ways to manage it without shame or judgment.
It's like they're challenging that idea that men have to be sexually invincible.
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, we're human. We have these experiences. It's normal.
Absolutely. And that's like a really positive shift, I think.
It is.
In the conversation around male sexuality.
Yeah, it allows for more honesty, vulnerability, acceptance.
It's a reminder that we don't have to live up to these unrealistic expectations. We can embrace our quirks, our imperfections, and even our unwanted erections.
Yeah, and find the humor in it all. You know, this Reddit thread is a perfect example of how laughter can help us cope with even the most awkward situations.
You know, I'm starting to realize that this deep dive is about so much more than just unwanted erections. It's about how we view ourselves, how we interact with each other, and how we navigate the complexities of being human.
Well said. It's like a microcosm of the human experience, all wrapped up in this hilarious
and surprisingly insightful Reddit thread. We've explored everything from thought-stopping techniques to the evolving nature of masculinity.
Yes.
And we've done it all while having a good laugh.
And that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah.
We're learning, we're connecting. And hopefully challenging some assumptions.
Along
the way.
If you are enjoying this exploration of the human experience, make sure to subscribe to Voices of the Soul.
Absolutely.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes. And for even more thought-provoking
Yes.
and visually engaging content.
Yes.
Check out the Shauna Pelage
YouTube channel.
We've got a whole library of deep dives waiting for you.
We're all about exploring the curious, the unexpected, and the downright fascinating aspects of human existence.
That's what we do.
So stay tuned.
Yes.
Because we're just getting started.
Absolutely.
You know, it's amazing how the simple question about unwanted boners has led us down.
I know, right?
Such a fascinating path. We've talked about psychology, physiology, societal norms, even the role of humor in coping with awkward situations.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It's all connected. It really is.
Yeah. This one, seemingly isolated bodily function, actually touches on so many different aspects of the human experience.
And it's a reminder that even the things that we consider embarrassing or taboo can be sources of insight and connection.
Absolutely. It's all about approaching these topics with curiosity and an open mind.
And a sense of humor.
The sense of humor.
Let's be honest.
Come on.
This whole Reddit thread is pretty hilarious.
It is. It really is a reminder that laughter can be such a powerful tool for connection and understanding.
You know, as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm struck by the sheer variety of responses that we've seen.
Yeah, it's like everyone has
their own
unique way.
Of dealing with this, like pretty universal experience.
It speaks to the individuality of human experience. Right. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. And what works for one person might not work for another.
It's about finding what works for you.
Exactly.
Whether it's a mental trick, a physical adjustment, or just like acknowledging the awkwardness and moving on.
Absolutely. And it's about recognizing that we're all in this together, right?
We're all in this together.
We all have moments where our bodies betray us.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's part of being human.
Yeah.
And if we can learn to laugh about it.
Exactly.
Well, that makes the journey a whole lot more enjoyable.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on.
So to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this unexpectedly insightful and hilarious journey into the world of unwanted boners.
The world of unwanted boners.
We hope you've learned a thing or two, laughed along with us, and maybe even felt a sense of camaraderie, knowing that you're not alone.
Not alone.
In these experiences.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, we encourage you to subscribe to Voices of the Soul.
Yes.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, we've got plenty more.
We do.
Fascinating topics to explore. All with the same blend of humor, insight, and genuine curiosity.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are visually inclined, be sure to check out
the Shauna Paul's YouTube channel.
The Shauna Paul's YouTube channel.
For even more deep dives, beautifully illustrated and engagingly presented.
Yes, we're all about
expanding our understanding of the world and ourselves. One thought-provoking conversation? Yes.
At a time.
Until next time.
Wow, stay curious. Stay open-minded.
Stay open-minded.
And most importantly,
stay
laughing.
laughing.
This is Voices of the Soul, signing off.